Welcome back to Expats in Progress.
You mean progress?
In progress.
Oh my gosh.
We're in progress.
Well,
Yeah.
what are we doing today?
We're doing a video on things that where Americans learned they weren't the center of the world.
Pretty much.
Should be a fun time.
You can have that one.
Yeah. Let's get going here. See what we got today.
Okay, here we go.
So I've been living in New Zealand for the last 4 years, and at work there was an American flag, and I jokingly went and put my hand over my heart and said the Pledge of Allegiance, and everyone was kind of like, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's a Pledge of Allegiance. So basically growing up every day at school at like 9 o'clock or whatever, we would all stand up and the whole class would recite the Pledge of Allegiance with our hands over our hearts to the American flag in the corner of the room. And my coworkers were like, what? And, you know, when you say it out loud, it sounds a bit culty.
Yeah. I remember doing the Pledge of Allegiance out loud. Why was it at 9 a.m.? Because at my school it was at 9 a.m. as well.
Oh, it was just at the bell time at my school, so like 7:50.
Oh, at my school it was at 9 a.m. We'd stop class.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's very specific.
I have no idea. It's very culty.
Doesn't really make any sense.
Another reason to leave this country. What's next?
So when I was in high school, I was a lifeguard, and during my lifeguard training, they taught us that before we even administer first aid or CPR, we had to ask for consent to avoid being sued. Now fast forward a couple of years, and I'm in London as a waitress, and my company sends me to go do CPR training. And while I'm there, they go over the same stuff that I learned in the States, but I notice that they're completely glossing over this one particular area. So I raise my hand and I ask, what are the laws here? Like, how do you avoid being sued if something goes wrong? To which every single person in the room starts laughing at me and says, oh, you're American, right? Yeah, no one here is going to sue you for trying to save their life.
Yeah. So as someone who's taken CPR training, yeah, you are legally supposed to ask for consent to save someone's life.
Well, if they can't provide consent,
Then you're not supposed to do it.
so if
You need to get a head nod or something, or risk being sued.
that's
Welcome to the United
insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
That makes no freaking sense. Like,
Yeah.
you can literally save somebody's life, and because they're greedy, they'll sue you.
Yes, that happens all the time.
That's
Or there's women that literally sue men who did CPR on them without their consent.
that is that is such a reach.
I gotta bleep that word out. But yeah.
Yeah, because
Like-
they were
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's like,
No,
no, he saved your life.
that doesn't fly anywhere except this country.
Yep. Okay, next.
So in the U.S., I regularly get pneumonia. Sometimes I get like pneumonia and bronchitis, but pretty much all, like clockwork, I get it. I had just moved to Scotland for my master's, and I was coming down with a respiratory infection like I do every year. It was just the early onsets of pneumonia, but like normally I wait to the point of where I'm like literally unable to breathe before I go to the doctor because it's expensive in the US. Well, here I was like, you know what? I'm here. I paid for the NHS. Let me go get it. Saw a doctor, gave me a prescription. I went to the pharmacy to pick up my medication, something that I literally would not be able to afford with my minimum wage job and being a full-time student. They gave it to me for free because it was necessary, and I almost cried in the pharmacy. Like tears were welling in my eyes.
Yeah.
So
That is literally how it is. Yeah. Whereas, like, here, it depends on what insurance you have, what anything else you have. It depends on where you go.
conditionally, it can be totally fine. Like, depending on your particular circumstances, if you have insurance, you might not need to think about it, or it might be basically free.
Exactly.
In most cases. But in a lot of cases,
It's not.
it's not. And also, like, I mean, the whole other thing is, like, look at the rates of chronic illness in the U.S. versus other countries. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's a lot more significant here. There's a lot more diseases here than there are other places, and people charge more money to cure them.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous. Absolutely
It's
ridiculous.
strange.
Okay.
Okay, so I live in New York now, but I used to live in England. And one time I was out at this bar with my friends, and these two cops walked by. And one of my friends was like, oh, I wonder why there are cops out right now. And I looked at the cops and I got really confused. And I was like, those are cops? And my friends were like, yeah. And I was like, they don't have guns. And everyone was like, why would they have guns? They were like so aghast at that question. And I realized in that moment that, and learned that guns, there are so few guns in the UK and it's such not an issue that like the everyday cop does not carry a gun. And I was there are houses in America that have seen more guns in them than a fresh vegetable. It blew my fucking mind. I think about it all the time. I hate guns so much.
Yeah, it is infuriating, and I like that analogy where it's like there's houses in the United States that have seen more guns than vegetables.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Oh, but yeah, in the UK, there's no weapons.
Yeah, because one country has lobbyists that pay a lot more money than for guns than vegetables.
Yeah. Okay.
In the US, I could not let my 11-year-old son go outside and play by himself. Someone would call the cops or something would legitimately happen to him, and so there was no way. And when I moved to Germany, my husband, who's a German national, suggested that he go outside and play by himself because we would not have to worry.
Yes. That is a huge thing here, too. Like, if a kid's outside by themselves, like if it's just one kid, people will call the police for child endangerment. And that's like a whole child protective services thing if a kid is left unattended.
Which is insane.
That's crazy.
I feel like in the US, kids genuinely have more stuff happen to them when they're out and about. I don't know if that's because Americans feel more entitled. I don't know if it's a cultural thing.
It's just...
I don't know if we genuinely have more people that are criminals than other countries.
That, along with our kids, are literally raised in such a way that they're dumb.
Yes, that is true.
Actually.
That is unfortunately true.
Yeah, I just know the stuff I did as a child. I'm like, yeah, no, we're raised stupid. Yeah. Let's see.
It's bad here.
So I didn't realize this until I moved abroad, but Americans have a very strange concept of freedom. Like, when you're growing up, you're always told that America is such an amazing place and, you know, it's the land of the free, home of the brave, but, like, I keep hearing these criticisms from people like, oh, yeah, but America has the most freedom. Wow, yeah, freedom. I mean, there may be a few exceptions or nuances, but in the UK, you're still free. Like, that is the biggest lie that Americans are ever told, that there aren't other free places. Like, I don't understand. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I feel like the concept is kind of destroying American democracy. How ironic. Like, they need to kind of understand that they need to work on things to make themselves better and more free for their citizens.
Yeah, that is a major thing, and I've always fought against that, and people have hated me for it ever since. I'm not kidding. I was in kindergarten talking about this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Where I'm like, aren't other countries the same way? Because I've always had a fascination with, like, geology and everything else. So, did I say geology? Geography.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, other countries have freedoms, too.
And sometimes more freedom.
Yeah, there's very specific things that America has that some other countries don't have, like trial by jury and things like that.
We're probably the least free Americans, or like English-speaking country.
Maybe?
Think about it.
I'm trying to think what the other English-speaking countries...
Australia, New Zealand, South Africa.
It probably is the U.S., unless it's like very specific freedoms you're talking
Canada,
about,
UK.
like the freedom to own guns, or the freedom to, like...
Yeah, it's...
sue someone.
Oh my god,
Next.
Okay, so I'm not currently living abroad, but I did live in Australia for a few months. And one night while I was there, I got a little bit too crazy, and I ended up on public transportation without a phone. And I had to find my way back to my apartment. And I got lost. And while I got off the tram to get onto a different tram to take me home, a middle-aged gentleman came up to me, and I immediately went into attack mode, and I was like going to kill him, and he was like, no, I was just gonna tell you which tram to take to get back to Preston. And that was when I realized that in Australia, I didn't need to be afraid. Like, granted, take precautions, but I didn't need to be afraid of every man. but in America, I still am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 I think we're also going to end it there. But yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that's probably a good
the
spot
United States is just trash. It is a third world country, borderline trash.
Especially, like, it was bad before, but it's just been steadily getting worse and worse.
Oh, easily.
Yeah,
easily.
And now it's... Okay, yeah. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. If you like these kinds of videos, let us know in the comments down below.
Definitely, it helps a lot.
Yeah. If you don't like these kinds of videos, also let us know in the comments down below.
And we will, I don't know.
We'll see you guys on the next video.